fell out. Shaved, not fallen.
Okay, if you grew it back, would you have any hair on the top of your head? No, you would not. Gotta fall out. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Clippers are hot. The Commanders release renderings of their new stadium, and Booger McFarland joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with reporting by ESPN's Adam Schefter that the Giants are working to finalize the hire of John Harbaugh as their new head coach. Harbaugh was fired last week by Baltimore after failing to make the playoffs, but he is a Super Bowl winner, and he has the 12th most coaching victories in the NFL. The Giants finished 4-13 this season. They've had a run of short-term, failed coaches since Tom Coughlin left in 2015. Wilbon, do you like this fit for both sides?
Tony, I like the fit. I'm not going to go as crazy as a lot of people on various networks I hear. You know, they should just start planning the parade, you know, out near MetLife. I like the fit. First of all, it represents something the Giants haven't had for a few years, maybe 10 plus, stability and hope. And John Harbaugh certainly brings those. And yes, there's a level of expertise that is not to be denied or made fun of. But, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that have to go right. And they didn't go right for John Harbaugh lately in Baltimore, which is why he's not still in Baltimore anymore, where he had a quarterback who's better than the one that the Giants are going to trot out there right after Labor Day. And they only won 3 playoff games with him in 7 years. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson teamed with John Harbaugh. So I like the fit, Tony. I think Giants fans should be excited. You know more about that being a New Yorker, but let's pump the brakes a tiny bit.
Yeah, I feel the way you do that. Like, let's have a little bit of caution here. Let's not speed into the playoffs, as I was hearing this morning on a variety of shows. Yeah. That was an overly rosy outlook to me. Look, the Giants have been awful for about the last 10 years. Not as stinking as the Jets, because nobody has been, but the Giants have only won more than 6 games twice in 10 years. They went through, Ben McAdoo and Pat Shurmur and Joe Judge and Brian Daboll. Not one of them had been a successful head coach prior to getting that job with the Giants, and not one of them had a winning record there. The Giants had great success, obviously, with Bill Parcells and then with Tom Coughlin, but that's it in the last 40 years.
Wow.
Nobody else has had any success. So this is not a surefire ascendance.
No.
All right? You're not taking over a great franchise. You're not, people, managing the Yankees. It's not that. All right? Is it a good fit for the Giants? Great fit for the Giants. The guy won 193 games. It's a great fit for them. He's got a pedigree. Yeah. Is it a great fit for Harbaugh? I'm not sure about that. I'm assuming, since he wanted this job, that he likes Jackson Dart and thinks he'll be there for a while. There are other players. Malik Neighbors is out there. He's a good player. Maybe Scatterbo becomes a good player. Defensive line looks pretty good. But they were 4-13 this year, 3-14 last year, 6-11 the year before. That's 13-38.
Ways to go.
Okay, so don't put them in the playoffs just yet. Don't put them in the playoffs just yet.
There's some real work to be done.
Yeah,
let's move.
But it's an upgrade.
It is an upgrade.
It's an upgrade.
We agreed down the line, Tom.
Yep.
Let's move down I-95, south, a couple hundred miles, where the Commanders have unveiled the first renderings of their new back-in-town, clear-roofed stadium, a roof, Tony. Pictures show the stadium built literally upon the foundations of the old RFK, where Washington played while winning 3 Super Bowls. The team hopes to complete construction of the venue by 2030. Tone, these renderings, you look at them, they make you feel what?
They make me feel, as I'm sure they make you feel, nostalgic for RFK.
Yeah.
All right, where you and I covered games for almost 20 years, in that particular stadium. RFK, it looks like RFK. There's a sweep like RFK. It's not going to be the same stadium. As you say, it's domed. A clear roof would be very, very nice, actually. I think the people who have designed the really beautiful stadium in Minnesota, designed SoFi. But yeah, it makes me nostalgic for RFK. And like everybody else in Washington, I hated that dump in Maryland that Jack Kent Cooke built. All right, RFK was vibrant, RFK was welcoming, and FedEx Field had raw sewage leaking out. RFK, it actually bounced. You and I were there when it actually bounced when the team was winning. And the other one, the FedEx Field, sits there sort of like an open sore. Look, it's very deliberate what is going on here. They're building it inside the District of Columbia. They're building it on the RFK site. This is a deliberate attempt to attach themselves to their great past. And their great past is pretty much long gone. And so they have to recreate it. And this stadium is a step towards that recreation of a once great franchise.
Let's keep in mind, RFK is a dump. RFK has long been a dump. It's just a charming dump, which we like, as opposed to FedEx Field, which was just a dump, which nobody liked after about 3 weeks. So let's get that straight.
No.
I looked at this, and in the columns that they use, I mean, it really looks like, wow. The columns, the saddle top, which is just like RFK.
Yeah.
And if you're in Washington, D.C., and you stand in front of Abraham Lincoln and you look out away from the district, you know that they're in line at the Washington Monument and then the Capitol of the United States and then RFK. They're in perfect alignment. The angles are perfect. And so, it conjures up a certain warmth that hasn't been felt for that franchise until it was sold, till Dan Snyder got out of Dodge. But it's cool. I think we can agree. The roof thing, I hate roofs.
Yes.
I hate roofs on all these stadiums. Play outdoors, but, nobody's listening to me.
Looks good. It looks good. And the fact of the matter is that in the last 5, 6, 8 years, people from Washington were outnumbered by people from visiting teams because people in Washington hated the owner and hated the stadium.
Yeah.
All right? Let's move to the NBA. While everyone was busy slamming the Clippers, including us, for their miserable 6-21 start, somehow the Clippers have awakened and might be good. Well, last night they beat the terrible Washington Wizards, but that was their 4th straight game in a row that they won. Their 11th of 13. They ran their record up to 17-23. The Clippers are now just 1 half game out of the play-in, and James Harden says, and I'm quoting here, "We can come all the way back," unquote. Wilbon, do you think they can come all the way back?
No, Tony. And I think look, when the season started and I looked at the personnel, I think we all thought the same thing, which was, wow, this team is old and wow, these guys have been great. Can they summon this again? And if they can, how sustainable is it? When Kawhi Leonard is out there, and he's been out there a little bit more lately than I think I thought he would, when he scores 30, they're winning the game. The Clippers are winning the game. Kawhi looks like he did in 2019 when he led a team to a championship in Canada. So I like what they've got, but we're talking about Harden and Kawhi essentially, and then a cast of people. Yeah. San Antonio's too good. Denver's too good. Houston, when they play some home games, because they haven't, they're going to be really too good. And we know OKC's too good. So all the way back, Tony, I can't see them climbing ahead of any of those teams.
We are in agreement on that. I don't see them climbing ahead of Minnesota. I don't see them climbing ahead of the Lakers either. I mean, I see them finishing like at best somewhere around 8th. So when Harden says we can come all the way back, because the other teams are actually better. It's funny. For some reason, when I think of the Clippers, I analogize them to the Philadelphia 76ers. I think because they have big name talent that's been there for a few years and big expectations and stuff like that. Philadelphia got off to a mediocre start. I think they were 10-9 at one point. Clippers obviously got off to a terrible start, and now they're working their way back up to where they should be. But last night I watched the Sixers a little bit get destroyed by Cleveland. Let me get the exact score here. 133-107.
Yeah.
And so what I'm reminded of is in the euphoria of a winning streak, then you get a bad loss to a pretty good team. And so you want to say, stop for a little while now.
Yeah.
Like, let's not get crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Tony, let's not get crazy. And particularly in the West, where a league, I know,
it's harder.
We're not used to young people dominating the NBA. It's always older guys. And so that's why I wanted to believe in the Clippers. That's the history of this league. But, man, you got a lot of great young players, particularly in the West, on those teams we mentioned.
It's good that you use the word young. I love James Harden. He's 36.
Yeah.
He's going to hold up after 82 games in the playoffs because he likes to play 82. He's old school, too. Let's take a break. Coming up, the Texans have the best defense in football. We're going to ask Booger McFarland how the Patriots' offense matches up.
We'll also ask him why teams stop my Bears early in the games, but not late. Not in the fourth quarter.
We have football questions for our great friend, ESPN, NFL, and college football analyst Booger McFarland, wearing a shirt from Old Memorial, one of his local tracks in Tampa. Let's start with this. Texans defense, awfully good. How does the Texans defense match up against the Patriots?
You know, Tony, for the very first time, you asked the wrong question, because you're asking how does the Texans defense match up to the Patriots. You need to ask it the other way around. How does the Patriots offense match up to the Texans? Mike Tyson never got asked, how do you match up against the opponent? The opponent was always asked, how are you going to deal with Mike Tyson? Because, and I make that comparison, not joking. This is the best defense I've seen the last couple years, guys. Pay attention to what they did on Monday night to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to send Aaron Rodgers into retirement. Mike Tomlin has retired. It's an unbelievable speed that they play at. Everybody talks about the two ends when you talk about Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., but it's everybody. When you watch their tape, it's almost as if somebody has hit fast forward and they're playing at a faster speed. D'Amico Ryans, the head coach, is an outstanding defensive mind. They do a really good job of rallying to the ball. They don't give up big plays. They can cover on the back end. It's the best defense I've seen in football in quite a while. And so the question should be, not how are they going to deal with the Patriots, but how are the Patriots, who are going to start two rookie offensive linemen on the left side, guys, they got to block the Houston Texans. To me, that is a mismatch on the offensive line for the Patriots and the defensive line for the Texans.
Tony, sounds like Booger is leading toward a little road dog situation here.
Yeah.
Sounds like that from the way he's talking up those Texans. They do look fearsome. The Broncos, Booger, have a very good defense too. And of course, the Bills have Josh Allen. Are you leaning defense again here?
You know, I'm leaning more complete team, because I think the Denver Broncos have the better team. And when you look at Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, it's Josh Allen, it's Cook, and then it's a bunch of guys that kind of work well together. When you look at the Denver Broncos, they're a more complete team. Defensively, they led the league in sacks this year. Offensively, Courtney Sutherland, the running back Harvey. I think if you're Sean Payton, here's the question you got to ask yourself. How much am I going to put on Bo Nix's plate? Because Bo Nix is the key. The last time these two teams played each other, which was in the playoffs last year, Bo Nix wasn't ready for the moment. Now, fast forward 365 days or so, now Buffalo is coming to Denver's house, and Denver's the 1 seed. If you're Bo Nix, are you going to perform better? Are you going to play better? If you're Sean Payton, how much of the meat and potatoes do you put on Bo Nix's plate? I think the defense will play well, but you're not going to beat Josh Allen 17-14. They're going to have to score in the mid-20s, and if Bo Nix can do it and he can play turnover-free football, they'll win. If Bo Nix can't do it, then Superman, along with James Cook, they'll come into Denver and they'll get the win.
Booger, I'm going to ask you about the most mysterious team in the league, at least to me, the Chicago Bears, and why it is that teams can have success against the Bears for as many as 3 quarters plus, but not late. What is there some secret sauce? What the hell is going on there?
Well, I don't know if there's a secret sauce, Mike. I think early in the game, the Bears kind of beat themselves. And listen, and when I say the Bears, I'm actually talking about this offense, because the defense is terrible. Yeah, they've led the league in turnovers all season long, which has masked some of their deficiencies, but the defense is not good. And so early in the game, it takes a little while for this offense to get going. It's almost as if Ben Johnson, who's the head coach and the play caller, has to kind of figure out what the defense is doing against him. And then when you get Caleb Williams backed up in the corner, DJ Moore, those guys get to going. And Caleb Williams has that it factor, Mike. You've seen it. Tony, you've seen it. We've been around sports a long time, guys. Sometimes you can't quantify it, you can't describe it, but you know when an athlete has it. And Caleb Williams has it. And it's almost as if late in the game, he tries to will his team to victory. He's not a perfect quarterback yet, but he's got the it factor, and he's a star. So I think against the Rams, he's going to have to play more consistently. He can't wait 3 quarters and then come in the fourth quarter, because Matthew Stafford, the presumptive MVP, might put up 35 against that defense. So he's going to have to play a little bit more consistently throughout the game. But make no mistake about it, early in the game, it's typically the Bears beating themselves.
We will get you out of here on this, and it's a college question. We've talked about the pros, now let's talk about college. It's Monday night. Miami is playing at home against Indiana. What kind of chance do you give Miami against Indiana?
Well, first of all, I truly hope the paramedics are around because Michael Irvin may just pass out at some point during the pregame. Like between he and Ray Lewis, he may just pass completely out because he's going to be so on cloud nine because his Hurricanes are playing for the championship. It's another case, guys, where you look at Curt Cignetti, and we've talked about this on the program all season long. He's got his guys believing that we're the best team. It's not about the number of 4 or 5 stars because they don't have many. It's about the complete team. They got the presumptive number 1 pick in Fernando Mendoza. He can go ahead and start buying real estate in Las Vegas. He's going to play for the Raiders. Brady and Spatek are going to pick him number 1. This game comes down to, can the team known as the Indiana Hoosiers, led by Cignetti and Fernando Mendoza, how do they compare with some of the star power that Miami has? Carson Beck took the $4 million, came to Miami. You got Malachi Tony. You got Ruben Bain. You got Akeem Mesidor. They got first-round picks everywhere on this team. But here comes little old Indiana, who's 15-0, who's favored by 8.5 points. Can the star power of Miami play more consistently and play turnover, mistake-free football? Miami's biggest issues is they've beaten themselves in a lot of games. When they lost to Louisville, Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions. Is he going to be able to play mistake-free football? If he does, and Miami plays to their level, we're going to get an all-time classic. If he doesn't, then we're going to be talking about the Indiana Hoosiers as the 2025 national champions of college football. And I don't care who you talk to, nobody had that before the season started.
Absolutely nobody. No, it's one of the great seasons. If they win, it's one of the great seasons of all time, Booger, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Anytime. Appreciate it, fellas.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, a trio of buzzer beaters in college hoops.
And Jonathan Kuminga reportedly demands a trade from the Dubs. Is that going to happen?
Does he have that kind of status?
No. But they got to trade him, Tony, to get better this year.
Tonight on SportsCenter at 6 Eastern.